Hello and welcome to Flory Models Daily Show. Here we are on Tuesday's Q&A on the 18th of June 2019. And today, to be honest, is all about the workstations and paint racks, because earlier on last week I went over and saw Mark at the new factory unit.
Hello, good morning, welcome to Flory Models. Here we are making the long trip to North Devon to see Mark, who's busy playing with his big toy.
A big toy?
Very, very big toy. So look, this is how all your nice new paint racks, caddy stands, workstations, and anything else we can think of that will fit in here will take. So go on then, Mark. Shadow stands as well, and other things we'll show you in a minute. So Mark, what have you got? What is next year?
This is an LS1290, 1.2 metres by 900 laser cutter engraver. It's currently cutting some caddy stands.
Lovely.
And over here we've got the smaller guy that I started with.
Nice.
Which is only 400 by 600 mil. So I use that for shadow stands, single caddy stands, anything of a small size. Most of the work is done by the big boys.
Lovely. So what we've got is a laser cutter engraver, as you say. How does the laser work on this one?
It's a CO2 laser. So basically, along the back here, there's a very long, for a better sense of it, looks like a fluorescent tube.
Yeah.
Clear glass tube which generates the laser, and it's fired through, it's cooled by water, so consider water cooler down here.
Yes.
And then it basically bounces off a mirror in the corner there, then bounces off a mirror here, bounces off a mirror here, then gets focused by the optics.
Yes.
And then to a single point where it basically evaporates anything that's underneath it, unless it's reflected.
Right. So we were saying before, this red light is a laser guide, not the cutter.
That's not the cutter.
So
no,
that
you
is
can't
actually,
see the actual
yeah,
cutting
the
line.
cutter is invisible. So that's just literally a laser to show where it is doing it, which is a clever thing because you know it looks cooler with a laser.
Oh, yes.
It wouldn't look as good as it was just disappearing.
It would be better if it went doo doo.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
Yeah, sound effects with it. I like the little flashes every now and again as it does. So this particular machine here, how thick material or plastic can it cut?
It can cut up to 20 millimetres of acrylic, which is probably the hardest material it will cut.
Yeah.
If it was cutting wood, as of a guess, you know, a couple of inches.
Right, okay.
But obviously, the thicker the material, the slower the laser has to go.
Yeah.
So obviously, it has to stay within, you know, practical reasons. One is, I don't want to be sat here 6 hours just cutting one shelf. Yeah. And the other reason is if I made a paint rack out of 20 mm acrylic, you'd have to obviously a desk.
Yes.
Because it weigh about a ton.
Right, yeah.
So it's always a measure up between strength and weight.
Yeah. So at the moment it's cutting out 4 caddies on this one sheet, correct?
Yeah, 4 caddy shelves.
Shelves, that's it, and a back. Okay, and that's it. So you got your sides that go on top of this as well. So how long will it take?
This one takes about 46 minutes.
Right. So here you go. You guys thought, you know, 3D printing.
Yeah.
So these things aren't just mass produced and stamped out. Literally, this poor little fella has to go around very slowly and cuts all your things out.
The worst ones obviously is the large paint racks.
Yeah.
Especially if it's attacker size, the layout size, because it's 140 holes, and just to cut the shelves takes an hour and 35 minutes.
There you go. You see? So Mark has moved into here, his nice new workshop with very nice wall art. Quotes available for those.
Everything's for sale.
Yeah, everything's for sale in
Even
here.
myself.
Yeah, clearly, yeah, we'll pimp him out, he'll be fine. So anyway, over here we've got basically what we're up to with a couple of things that could be coming along in the future. Feedback on these guys. Have the mechanisms turned up yet?
They did, but they were rubbish.
Oh right, scrap that, but these are actually clocks which have been done with the acrylic, as you can see. Absolutely fantastic. Little something we're working on at the moment. But basically your package arrives something like this. There is some assembly required, purely because getting it through the post, as you can imagine, it cuts down the cost of it. So actually what you end up with is your cutting mat. So you are supplied with a cutting mat, and then it comes as a little mini kit, as you can see down on here like this. Okay, basically you peel off the backings as we've shown before, and then you'll go through the motions of sticking it all together, which I'll show you in a moment anyway. But you can see it comes like a bit of a jigsaw with all your parts in here, just like this, okay? And it comes with a nice new logo now, and we've made a few little minor adjustments to actually how it stands and works and everything else, which you'll see when we pop one together in a moment. So obviously this one here is the A3, which is the smaller one. We also do the bigger one that you'll see me use on the show and obviously in the studio, available in white and black, which is the A2, which is the bigger brother to it as well. At the same time as well, we've obviously got the little caddy stands, which is basically the backing of one of these, which is what Mark's cutting over there at the moment, okay? And they are down like that. So what I'm going to do is put the camera down and we'll pop one of these together.
Okay, so your actual workstation will turn up like this. It doesn't matter if you've got actually the bigger A2 or the A3 one like this. They are exactly the same design, apart from obviously the slightly larger one being the A2 has actually got another little compartment on the side, but roughly it all goes together the same. It will arrive to you, like we saw, flat packed just like this, okay? And then literally it's just a case of untaping yourself from these edges, okay, and then that one, and then I think that's done a few other minor little tapey bits just under there. So you get free part of it, a self-healing cutting mat, which is obviously designed to fit in the inlay exactly how it is, and then you can see it down in here. It is like this sort of jigsaw piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save a bit of time and just cut this, okay, and then we can just use these off, and then just get these off, and obviously the back ones will come off in a moment. Get these to go. Okay, just like that, and then what you can do is, this is the fun bit, is peel off. Now, to be honest with you, these are a little bit staticky, okay? So they do have a little bit of static with them. Just get these off the bottom bit. Okay, so what you might want to do is get yourself an anti-static cloth and just give these a little bit of a wipe around, purely to get some of that static off of it, okay? And there's that, there's always one. The hash way of doing it, okay, and like this, and as you can see now we have our very smart logo down in the model in the bottom here, and then you've basically got all your components, so you can just pop these off, and then obviously it's got protective film left on it. This is basically to keep it nice and glossy for you. Okay, so we'll just whip these all off. Okay, so you can take your cutting mat, okay, so they are double-sided like this one, so you can just come whichever side you want, and they pop down. There's a little bit of a gap round there purely so you can get in amongst it, and it acts as a like a catch. So obviously if you get anything that drops down, you can get it out the groove there just like that. As I say, biggest difference on the bottom from the old one is obviously we've now got a logo in and this design round in here. Okay, it's just a little bit bigger, thicker area, so it doesn't sort of cut into your wrist as much. It's far more comfortable and sort of easier to use. Now when you're popping it together, the biggest thing or advice to give you is on these guys, and then obviously on these parts here. Thing to remember or to notice is that I got very, very thin area and a thicker area. The thicker area is the one that is going to go to somewhere where it isn't connected. So obviously when you've got two parts coming together, then obviously it's a thinner one versus a thicker one. So this one here, you might notice, has got, do it black on black here, there we go, it's got a thick tab and a thin tab, all right? So obviously you can see on here we've got a thick tab and a thin tab, all right? So that is your difference between the top and bottoms on those ones as they come in, all right? So these literally fit in just on the sides, and you can pop it in. Oh, I suppose we won't do the back really. Obviously it's quite important to have the back bit. Now there's multiple ways to do this. I know Mark's got his way of doing it. I certainly have mine with it and all the rest of it. So it's one of those ones, it can be a little bit fiddly until you've got the first one sort of in. But basically what you want to do is just make sure you've got the right ones on the right side. All right, so this one is just going to fit in the back. Okay, it doesn't go, which means it's round the wrong way. So if you just flip it around the right way, you'll notice it drops straight in the hole, just like that. And then it's just a case of coming in and then popping on the sides like this. And then you come into one in here. Okay, and that sits in there, so forth and so on. So like we were saying, you've got the ones down the bottom, the thicker tab out of these two. You can see it's thicker there, thinner there. Thinner goes to the inside because there's going to be another one that's going to join in. Okay, so literally, again, just a bit fiddly to do this. And again, if it doesn't sort of go in there, you just need to, actually, that one's got no bottom tab, so that's that end. Sorry, there's me getting very much ahead of myself. Okay, so that one goes in there, that's more like it. Okay, end tab, top tab. Okay, and then section goes on, and then again, thick tab to the outside, thin tab because obviously it needs to join in with the other one. Okay, just for the moment and just to make things easier, before you glue it, if you grab yourself a bit of tape, you can just get a little bit of tape and you can tape the corners together just to hold itself a little bit more rigid as you come through with the other areas. So again, you've got the bottom one. Okay, so again, you can see thick end, so it wants to go around this way, so you've got the 3 holes down at this end of it, and then again this will slot in the back, that slots in the front like that, and then again you've got your slotted one, just goes down in here. And again, it's just a little bit of a thing, getting them all in, sits in like that. And then again, this mirrors this side. Okay, so the square holes at the back, then you've got your round ones. Okay, so then these just gonna go in and fit in there just like that. And then down on here, we've got these end ones, and then we've got a little shelf. So again, thick, thin, thick goes to the outside. Okay. So it just goes like that, and then just for the moment we'll tape it together. Okay, and that puts it in. So for putting this one together, there's a couple of options. You can do super glue it, tap glue it. You can then come in, obviously you can use strong welds. Tamiya Tet doesn't really do this thing justice, all right? So you probably need something with a bit more bite than that, all right? So what I highly recommend is, like, you get the plumber's stuff and all stuff like that, you can use that one with this. I have got some extra strong, don't take any notice this saying plastic weld, because technically it isn't. This is something that's a lot stronger in here. Okay, so we're just gonna come along and I'm just gonna touch and let these flow down in here. So you tend to drop them in the top, just like this. Just pop them in the corners. You touch and flow with the old capillary actions. Okay, and once it's in, you'll look something like that. So you can obviously load it up with your usual tools and things. So as I said, it will take your glues, perfectly designed for these ones. So down in here, we've got Tamiya type glues. Okay, fits in there, no problem at all. And then down here at the top, you've got various things. And to be honest, we've designed these ones to hold sort of crystal clears, those types of, you know, solvent ones down in there like that. And then over here, these are designed, you can put anything in there from your Flory models washes through to your standard Tamiya type paints or whatever you want to go down in there. And then along the top here, to be honest, they are sort of designed for, let's grab a few of these. Obviously we've got sanders, so you can pop your sanders in the top here, just like this. Okay, so we've got those down in there. And then obviously if you wanted to put your square sanders down in there, we've got them like that. You can pop your tools in as and how you like to have these type of things all put down in there. And then obviously you've got a little shelf over here. You can put your Tamiya tapes or any sort of tape dispensers, things like that, if you wanted to in here. If you've got one of these ones, not that it was specifically designed, but it doesn't actually fit in this one, but it does go in the bigger version. So if you've actually got the actual A2, the bigger one, you'll notice it does fit. Is it over here? You just about see it, it does fit down in there. just like that, so that's not a problem if you want to pop that one down in there. But generally there we go. And then over here, as you might imagine, there's things for paintbrushes. So we've got paintbrush holders for various sizes of paintbrushes, or anything else you wanted to pop down in here, they'll go just down in there, so forth and so on. The great thing about this, as I said before, is that you can literally pop that in there, just pick this thing up then and go anywhere you want with it. So if you're in a difficult situation, perhaps you're limited for space, things like that, absolutely fantastic. You can just pick it up and go, and away you have it. The caddy, as you see behind here, which is this one, is pretty much the sort of version you can see down in here. Okay, so it is that sort of section, and then so forth and so on with the other ones. So the caddy is this back part of it, if you like, just like that. But you can see, very, very handy, very, very easy to use. It is available in white or black. So you've seen me use the white one before, the bigger one probably, but these are available in white and black, and are available right now.
So obviously you guys know, you've seen it in the studio as well. We've got the paint racks, which are there, and then obviously they sit over here. They're all done on the shelves, ready to go out. So basically you pick what one you want, as you know. So it is available in 3 flavours. We've got the Tamiya size sort of bottles, which are what in mil? 38 mil diameter holes on these one, and then we do the smaller ones, which this is sort of your Vallejo size, which are Attacker as well. Anybody's like that type size bottle, and they are what size?
29.
Is it 29, 28, 29 on those? Like that, yeah. Okay, so they're down in there. That's it. All right, so it's we've got them in the sizes just like that as well. So then, and then obviously the biggest ones is Tamiya and Guns, people like that ones, which are, what size are they?
They're the ones that are
38. Sorry,
no,
which ones?
34.
34, 38, and 28 for the sizes. And again, available black, white, and in clear as well. So if you want to do them in clear shelves, if you want to do them in the black or in the white, it's totally up to you. And then what basically they've done is done to order for what size shelving you want in those ones as well. So if you want a rack with obviously Tamiya size, then no problem at all. If you want it obviously with the sort of, you know, Attacker size or Vallejo sizes, things like that, and then you've got your MRPs what was it? I just saw another the other company. Alclad-y colours, things like that. They just fit down in those ones as well. All right, so that's those ones. And again, everything's all ready just to be packaged up and everything else. Lots of packaging, lots and lots of packaging, and lots of offcuts, which all do get recycled, completely ozone friendly here, dolphin friendly, and all the bits and pieces. And this little guy's still buzzing away. Just down in here. Just like that. Another little thing Mark's been playing with, the idea is these, which is actually what Mark started doing.
Originally, that's how it started, yeah.
This is how it all started. These are cockpit panels for the sort of flight sim or just general areas, things like that. This one's out of an A10C for the fuel system. Sits just above the throttle, things like that. And Mark used to do cockpit panels before we got sidelined into this type of thing. Again, it's something that we're playing with, the idea of making the stands with these. So a lot of you have seen the shadow stands that we do and things like that. Obviously we're going to be sorting those out and getting those back to you very, very shortly. But something else, give us the feedback, is on these ones to know if you'd be interested in something like this, because we're thinking about putting them into being a display stand. Obviously it'd be like a little box it comes in, and then you could have a stand coming off of it with your plane, with obviously a cockpit panel below it, which we think is quite a very nice little cool idea as well. And again, these, which will be making their way to you shortly as well, which obviously replica obviously altitude ones down in here, but other gauges we could do as well, all done in acrylic. And as you can see there, nice thick, hang on the wall, nice little clocks for you, or anything else you could think of. You could have a stand out of that as well. You quite put a stand on anything and do it just like that. You want to fire it up. Yeah. gets old watching this. There you go, 48 minutes, 14 seconds later.
Oh. Look.
The other two have fell in the drawer. Great.
Here we go. There's your backs, the base. Here we go, all done, sorted. So there you go, that's 4 of them, all done, hot off the press, literally, they're all still warm. That's down in there, and
There's the two that fell in the drawer.
a couple off the bottom as well.
Now, show it upside.
So there we go, that's the actual, the middle bit if you like, which is this bit. Now we've just got a couple of sides, which is a couple of these each side, and then obviously goes into them like that. We'll pop one together, and then one lucky winner can win one of these. Have you done food in this yet? Looks like a giant grill.
Yeah, I engraved the panini. Different size. This won't take as long.
No.
Okay then, competition time. We're giving away 3 tall caddies. This one down in here, available in white, is exactly the same one as you're going to get. We have got 3 to give away, so you technically could get 3 chances to win. All you got to do is like, subscribe and share on Facebook, Instagram and all the other bits and pieces like that, and we'll put you into a draw to win one of these. We'll ship it anywhere in the world. 3 chances to win. You can either do it through the Flory Models Facebook page, the PNM site Facebook page, and also for Flory Models members in the forum as well. So you just post your name up under today's little vloggy thing in the forum, or if you can post it up obviously onto the Facebook one, and you just have to share it and make a bit of a song and dance about it. For everyone who does that, be entered into the draw, and we're going to give away 3. I have all 3 of them right here of the actual caddies away to lucky winners with those ones. So there we go, very, very exciting. As you can see, it is together now, and it's all rock solid and glued in and everything else like that. The one I was using for it is called, it's basically just called acrylics. It's called Weldon. So yes, that's the one. Pause and read. That's the one that I actually used for it. I've got it inside the other bottles. We've put it together, but there we go. It is together now. Solid as a rock, no problem at all. Remember, if you want to win one of these, all you got to do is obviously make a post down below in today's forum show on the site. Obviously, if you can say something kind and share as well on the actual Facebook, and then obviously on all the social media types thing, and with the PM one as well. You can enter 3 times. You've got 3 chances of winning as well if you want to do that for members. If non-members, just post it around, and obviously we'll pick 3 for the caddy for one of these at completely random. All right, so as I say, we'll send that anywhere in the world out to you. Obviously tools are not included. Anyway, it is Tuesday, so we thought we'd get on questions. I'm going to talk all about this bird tomorrow. She is completely finished off now, so really happy the Wessex is all done. Spent the morning working on it and quite a bit of time this afternoon when I shouldn't have been getting on with other things, but I was on a complete roll and wanted to get it done. But she is finished off now. I'm very happy. Anyway, over to the questions. So, Tuesday question starts off with Nigel, who says, "Hi Phil, you're probably aware of a bunch of us been having a discussion about the possibility of a new category on the forum for vintage kits without any modern aftermarket stuff. That way we can use to be like in the old days. Is it possible that we could have such a category? There seems to be quite an interest in this already." I did have a look. You're saying interest. From a percentage point of view, it's very small. You know, like I always say, you get 100 of you together, I'm quite happy to move it around because 100 is just 10% of you and we can do it literally like that. But, you know, it's one of those where we don't want to disjoint the forum. You might remember I collapsed it. We used to have loads of subcategories in the old system. And when we moved over to the new one last year, I pushed it all together and squeezed it a little bit more to get it to be a little bit more easier to follow. So it just worries me of having now categories for vintage, and when we get newer members join us, they're not sure where they should be posting and stuff like that. Remember, if you want to do it as a buddy build, that's a different thing. We can set you up with your own section down in the forum, down just above the actual group builds and SIGs, and you can actually have it as a buddy build if you want to put a time limit on there. I'd say like a year or something, and then we can put it down in there. We can do a video build of you at the end of it and all those types of things, like a mini SIG if you like, and do it that way. It's just that I don't want it to be that thing where again we got then start getting subcategories and we get groups of you sort of pigeonholing yourself into small little niches and cliques. It's one thing I hate about forums when they're cliques and various things like that. So I try and keep it sort of, you know, all inclusive in one area as much as possible. Trust me, if it is up for me, you just have sections that says modelling. That's it, it's all in one, but I understand that's probably a little bit over the top. But yeah, it's that thing. If we get like 100 people together, then that's a different matter. I will set you up with your own category. But, you know, from the point of view, you think we've got 2,500 subscribers in the forum these days. So from that point of view, if we could find 100, it's like 5%, and we can work from that type of thing, you know? So, but as I say, if it's not, and you want to do something like a buddy build with a load of you and say set it for a year to do them, then I'm happy to put that in that area as well. All right. Right, Phil says, "Hi Phil, not sure if it's been asked before, but can you put can you put oils over a matte coat? I previously used oils over a gloss coat and was wondering if there's any drawbacks on using Abdilugs over Tamiya XF86. PS, thanks for you and the team, the great work." You can, because this has got it all. This had Tamiya XF86. Like I said before, it's probably got more to the kin of a satin finish than a flat, because I put self-leveling thinners with it, but I find that's probably the best grip. So it's not like a gloss. So when you come in with oils especially, if it's got a little bit of texture, it grips, and you can do like we've done on here, sort of marks and weathering, and you can make them quite subtle because it's just getting caught in that texture. Yeah, if it's over a gloss, it's too easy to wipe it away. Okay, this has got a little bit of bite and it holds onto it, and that's why I like using it for the wash as well. The clay wash, it gives it something to grip onto instead of just being wiped away too easy. So yes, you can, but you can also use it with a flat, with oils and everything. Just remember the golden rule though. If it's texture, think of it like a sanding stick or something else like that. So if you've got your sanding stick and it's got this rough texture, when you put oils into it, it's going to get caught in that texture, so it can't physically get out. So think of a sanding stick on a fine one, it's going to get in there, so you're never going to get it all out. With the gloss, because it's smooth, you'll just wipe it away, no problem. But when it's got a bit of texture in there, you're always going to find you're going to leave a little bit behind. So if you're happy to leave a little bit behind, and let's face it, it's probably why you're doing weathering in the first place, then I would say over a satin to a flat finish, just because it gives more grip. So it's a bit like that thing about when you're doing pigments. It's best to do them over a flat coat because they stick and they can grip. Again, if it's over a gloss coat, it just washes off and just wipes away. So you need to have a little bit of a bite on it. But to be honest with you, I wasn't going to talk about it today, but if you see the next part of this tomorrow, because there's 2 more parts of this left now, that's all about using oils. So this thing, you can see all this weathering on here is completely in part 8. Okay, so part 8 is going to be all about using oils for this type of weathering on this one. All right, so it might be worth having a look because it's completely over this flat / satin coat that I put down with Tamiya XF86. So that way you can go over it and think of it just like paint. If you got like a flat paint on there, it'll work exactly the same way. And I answer a lot of questions about obviously different techniques because we use it from a wash. So obviously Abtai Lug thinned with enamel thinner, so it's just a thin wash, right the way through to it being, you know, literally you're putting it down and then dragging it, so it's like streaking, and we did it a lot of this one, right the way through to what I call blending. So it's a tiniest amount on the brush and just rubbing, and that's how we did a lot of this down the back end. Because it's getting caught on that texture, it's no problem. If it was on a gloss, probably wouldn't work. But I find the texture aids oils because it just gives it that ability to blend seamlessly without getting caught up too much, you know, on the surface and then not enough. So it's just sliding off. So when you're doing it, you're not really doing anything apart from catching the odd raised bit. Okay, so from that point of view, I'm a great fan of using technically a flat coat for all weathering anyway. But anyway, that will be up with you tomorrow. That's Wednesday's one. Roger says, ordered his bench vent and got an email today with a £30 refund. Thanks for the Flory 10% discount. Yes, that's no problem. I won't say the code, but that has been sorted out now. I'll put it back up in the forum later on for you. Ray says, hi Phil. Oh no, this is quoting. Yes. Oh yes, please build 90. Sorry, please. I build 99% of kits without aftermarket stuff. I love building vintage kits pre-1980. Is that vintage? I thought you'd have to go 70s, but to be vintage when I can get my hands on them. That's Ray. Again, you guys get together and then I'm quite happy to do it. You know me, I'm led by you guys. Gary says, Phil, just having a reading of the book Gun Button to Fire by Squadron Leader Tom Neal. He's a superb first-hand account of the Battle of Britain. I got the bug to build the Hurricane Mark 1. Problem is Airfix for some unknown reason have stopped doing their kit. I know, the only kit you can find is the Sea Hurricane and the Tropical version. Do you know of any good 1/48 scale kits out there? By the way, loving the new format and the evening shows and the Saturday show. Thank you. Right, okay, so we spoke about this one, I think last week or if not the week before, and one of the guys said, yes, you can build the normal, Battle of Britain version Hurricane from the Sea Hurricane. So the only thing is you're going to have to find your own decals, but apparently you get them both in. I built it as well many years ago. You might want to go back through that build when it first got released. It's a lovely little kit really, but I couldn't remember if you could or couldn't because it's probably 30 kits back now. But have a look on that video build, but I'm pretty sure the guys are saying you can, but you are obviously going to have to find replacement decals for it because it comes with the C decals, not with the other ones. But the bit for the arrestor hook is you can take it on and off and various things, so you can do both versions from that particular kit. If not, to be honest, I can't think who's doing them at the moment. I don't know if Hasegawa do one. I'm sure there's loads of guys now screaming at the screen, but my mind has gone blank on that one. But anyway, if we're still stuck for it, Gary, post up for the Thursday show and we'll get all the guys onto it and perhaps can ask up about that one as well. Right, Davies... right, okay, some reason somebody's just quoted and that's it. Okay, so David says, hi Gary. You can build the Mark 1 Battle of Britain Hurricane from the Sea Hurricane or the Tropical kit, as Airfix give you both parts in the box. I've got both kits and the correct parts are inside. What you will have to get is aftermarket decals for the correct period and markings. Go to Hannah, have a look on the website, go on Airfix and you get all the details down below. Right, there you go. So Dave's just confirmed it. Thank you, Dave. Perfect job. Okay, Adrian says, hi Phil, can you help me? I have the MB Famous Pilots of World War II, Kit 1. Please can you tell me what colour the uniforms are, as the box pictures are different colours and confusing. Thank you. Adrian, I wouldn't have a clue, but it just so happens we have somebody on with us, our special guest on Thursday, who probably will do. So I will move your question over to there and then he can ask about it and we can check with him because our special guest is a bit of a boffin on these things and I'm sure he can focus us all in the right direction with that particular one. Don't worry about your internet connection about that one. Okay, so Stephen says, hi Phil, new to the site and love it. I've learned a lot in a short time. I have a question about group builds. How do I enter a group build? Very, very simple. Literally just make your way down. Hold on, let me just do something. If I go like that and then we go, I think, it's all right, I haven't set up the live recording. So, right, if you go over to, if we go to all categories, okay, scroll all the way down past all the various sections, okay, and you'll come down into here. Buddy builds, that's the one we was on about earlier. Have a look in there, you get an idea. Basically, what happens is, if you wanted to take part in the current one, which presuming you're doing the beaches to the bulge one, okay, down in there, if you have a look in the first one, which is the chat, you should have the rules and eligibility thing. That's in here. This gives you a brief outline of what you need to do, okay? So basically, what you do, you start an unstarted kit, you go back to the sections, that's it, down in here, you go to work in progress, all right, you just pop in here, you go start a new topic, okay, and then what will happen is it'll open up here, you put your build that you're doing down in here, and then obviously we need your kit, the manufacturer, so obviously what you're working on, the actual manufacturer, the scale, any aftermarket you're going to do in, and any blurb you want to give, and then literally you start off your build just like that, okay, it's really, really straightforward. So if we just pick out one at random here, so this is it, it's exactly what you do. So you put up a little bit about it. So it says 148 scale Tamiya P51D Mustang 8th Air Force. That's the one we're doing. So you've usually put a picture of the box art up so we can see. Usually a picture of the instructions. You don't have to put them all up. And then some pictures of the sprues. So this is basically the way this works, is that anybody who wants to build a Mustang can follow along now. So he says, right, okay. Also, if they want to have a look a bit of an inbox review, they can see it as well. That's the whole point to doing these group builds. So you can see a little bit of everything. So we've got the decals down in there, the aftermarket that's going to be used. It's a great way. And then you just start your build. So we're not asking for a blow-by-blow account. If you want to, please, it would be lovely if you could. But what we're really asking you to do, as you can see down in here, is just a few photos as you're making your way along to really join in the journey. So other members, as you can see, can come back and talk about it. Perhaps they can give you some suggestions, some ideas. If you get stuck, if you're not sure, you can holler out for help. And then other members can come in and get really interactive with the builds of helping you out as you make your way through it. Okay, so really that's what it's all about. And as you can see, fantastic build all the way down here. Still one of my favorite kits of all time. Okay, and you can see doing a fantastic job talking about the paints they're using and how they're doing it right the way through, just like that. Okay, so it's really, really straightforward. You don't have to go quite as in depth as we got here, because this is a really nice one actually. It's a beautiful build. Congratulations, that one, Michael. You're doing a fantastic job on there. All right, and that is literally it. Once you've finished it, and you're all done, then what you do, you pop over to here, and I think we've got one finished so far. So we got one for the Achilles, and there you go. You put up the final one down in here. So again, you start another new thread for the final reveal photos. And then normally Peter gets a slap on the wrist. What you do, you put up here the same thing. So you just put Tamiya 148 scale, you know, and then you put Tank Destroyer M10 2C Achilles. And then normally you put a link here as well that says, please view my build thread here, and you just link it back to it, and then you just post up your final reveal photos, and those are the photos that I use then into the actual video that we put together with all your great work, and we put your name underneath for the final reveal video, which is then put out to the world to have a look at all of your great work. Literally, it is that simple. The biggest thing you have to remember, and it is definitely something you have to do, and that is to have fun. You know, at the end of the day, the whole point of doing all of these group builds and everything else like that is so you guys either get inspired from each other, can help each other, and then from a point of view of having fun doing it, and then later on in time, and that's what this entire forum has been built around now, because it has been going for the last, 17, 18 years, is that then you can come back at any point and somebody can reference your build. So if you've done a Mustang like Michael's there, he's done it. So you can then think, well, look, he's done it, so I can see what paints he's used, Has he had any problem? What aftermarket he used? And you can then make a decision if that's what you want to do, or you just cherry pick the best things, or you think, no, I wouldn't do it that way, I want to do it this way, so forth and so on. And that's the whole point to doing any of the group builds like that. So it's pretty straightforward, very, very easy. Any questions, shoot me a PM and I'll walk you through it. But that's basically it. Okay, right, Stefan says, hi Phil, following on my question from last week regarding planning to build the Airfix 148 scale Red Arrows Nat. After some Googling, I've seen that Humbrol 19 Red Airfix recommends pretty much for the Nat, whereas the red used for the Hawk is slightly more orange. This is a very old drunken tale we'll go back to. Now, I won't be using Humbrol, and I'm wondering if you could recommend another manufacturer for the red that's close to the Humbrol 19. It needs to be paint. I can get together with MRP 2K Clear, which we'll finish it off with. Right, okay, so you're saying about basically guns or MRP. I will be honest with you, I painted mine in the extra colour, and when I finished with it, it looked far too orange. It didn't look like a Red Arrows, it looked like an orange. So the thing is, in a drunken stupor with another member many years ago, after having far too many drinks, we sat here about 10:30 at night and I decided to repaint it. And I made a custom mix, which I have no idea what it was, and then ended up repainting the entire thing. It's a funny tale. Anyway, and that is what my Red Arrows Hawk is to this day. So, and I think it turned out very nicely. Now, this is the kicker. A few years ago, we were lucky enough to get a full hands-on with the Red Arrows. I spent a very amount of time photographing and looking all over a Red Arrows. And it's one of those where you usually don't get access like it because I've physically got my hands on the aircraft. And it's true, because when you look at it, the thing's orange, but it doesn't look right. This is one of those classic examples of where scale effect is very important, because the Red Arrows, when you see them flying around, they're called the Red Arrows and they look red, but on the ground and in a hangar, they look orange. So it is one of those ones where, do you want to go for more of like the bit you see them flying in the sky and some photos which have probably been color corrected and stuff like that where they look very red, or do you want to go to something that's very authentic? Now, from my point of view, I went for the color corrected, what I perceive them to be, because to my eye it's better. Okay, so if I just grab mine here. So clearly this has got a layer of dust on it, but if I show you the underside, you can see it. So this is my Red Arrows. The build is up there, you can see. What actually happened was I overcoated this in Tamiya X7 Red, very heavily thinned right the way over this thing to give us this correct, or I perceive, again, it's a perception thing, I perceive this to be the correct red of what it would actually be. Is it? I don't think it is. Having been up one now, it's orange. It's not this colour at all. Okay, so from my point of view, at the end of the day, it's what you perceive them to be is obviously my favourite, rather than having something like that, which is perhaps not exactly, as it should be. So again, I always say build it for you, not for everybody else. That's a classic example of it, because I think a lot of people would say, no, that's too red. Okay, but to me, I think it's probably right. But also, having been up to a Red Arrows, and lots of them, and crawling all over them for an afternoon, it was one of those ones where it's like, do you know what? It's orange, it's not red. And I think we all came away from it saying, it's not right. But it's how your mind perceives it. And sometimes I think, it's like they always say, don't let a story get in the way of the truth. It's the same type of thing with that. It's a Red Arrows. Red is the name of it. That's what I want it to be, more than orange, shall we say. So again, I wouldn't call out exactly what it is, but definitely I wouldn't trust extra acrylics, because their one is way too orange. But from a chip point of view, if they've done it from a paint chip, it's probably not that far off. Sorry, I can't be much more help than that. David says, hi Phil, Wessex looks superb. She does. It's now my favourite build officially for a long time. I've actually really enjoyed this one. On Monday's vlog, you mentioned the clear coat over the oils to seal everything. What do you intend to use for that? Also, will it require masking the canopy of the flat coat? Yeah, basically what I tend to do is, if I'm just overcoating from that type of thing, it's not getting a full you know, horrendous coat. What I will do is, I haven't had to do it on this one, but if I was, I would just remask the entire clear area. So what I would do is I'd stick a bit of sponge probably inside of these, and on these I would do the entire thing. So I wouldn't do around the frames, I'd just do the lot, because you won't notice it. It'd be imperceivable to see it. Plus that, you can give it a rub, as you'll see in part 11, I go right over the glass with oils, just over the lot, and then you clean them up afterwards. You buff it all up and you're good to go. So that's the point to it. But obviously you don't want to put a flat coat over the top because it will etch onto it. So just mask those areas, and even sometimes I put my hand over it. If I'm doing a plane, I just cover it with my hand, spray the rest of it, and you're good to go. Remember, it's something quite light. It's not a heavy, thick douse of everything right over it. It's just something to put over it to sort of seal it in. So if you were doing the back end of the helicopter, chances are I'd probably grabbed it over the front, just hold it, and then spray the back end, and that's good enough for what it needs. And then obviously you just go around and give them a wipe around afterwards as well with a little bit of acrylic airbrush cleaner. We'll probably clean them up quite easily. We have no problems on it. But it's a bit like the windows and that. They're always a push fit, and they still are to this day, purely because it was one of those ones where I thought if I need to, I can just pop them out, flat coat it and go again. I haven't needed it, to be honest, because I managed to do it all in one. But if I do, you go over it. As to what I would use, to be honest, I would probably go back over it with a coat of XF86, the flat Tamiya clear. It works great, but if not, if I wanted just something as a generic, I'd probably just put a coat of Future over it or something else like that, and you'd be good to go. But I would just cover the entire area. I wouldn't even worry about doing that, because also the thing is, like, you've got bulge windows on this side now. So, but these are still a loose fit, you can pop them out, which is the great thing about this kit, because I've sanded them to the correct sort of aspect ratio of it, so you can just get in there to clean them off. Here we go, sitting there like that. But yeah, so again, just not overdo it. Don't over egg it and you'll be absolutely fine. Right, okay, so that's the good people who put them all in the right thread. Let's see if anybody else has chucked them anywhere else. Right, long day today. Right, okay, where are we? Fills area. Let's just see where else we are. Okay, so Roger says, attended the Durham Model Show on the Sunday the 16th. Wife bought me the Shackleton. I'm staying with the Old British Aircraft. I see you've done a review in it. Did you ever build it? It's only my third ever aircraft, and I've learned a lot from the mistakes on the other two, which is the Tornado and the Dakota. Nearly happy with the Dakota, but messed up the glazing. Don't worry about it, it's all fun at the end of the day. No, I haven't. She's still sat there, but she is still on my list to do. Hence, everything you see in here, I'm intending to build at some point. She's there, and I intend to do it. This is the Revel one. Quite fancy doing it. I see it at shows as well, like you. I get inspired by it, and I'm like, yeah, really want to do that. So we've got builds sorted out for the next 5, probably. After that, watch this space. Then Tim says Simon Webb on the forum is doing a video build on his YouTube channel. Oh, so there you go. You can go off and see it. A free plug. Don't know how I do it. Okay, so what else have we got? Response to D-Day colours. Didn't we have that one? We've seen that one. Sorry, we did that one the other day. I think that's the only one in there. And I think we are all up to date on that one. Yes, we are. All sorted. Yeah, that's all good. My word, we're up to date. There we go. Long old show today. Hope you enjoyed it. So anyway, Up With You tomorrow is going to be part 8 of the Wessex build. Talks all about oil weathering and everything you can see on this lump at the moment, and she's done. And then probably Friday will be the last part of that. Will be Up With You as well. So there we go. That is obviously today, obviously on about these little guys. They are back in stock. You can go off and get them right now. Please enjoy and everything else like that. As I said, been a lot of work sorting all of these out. Massive thank you to Mark. He's a complete star at doing all of these for us, and he's a bit of a champ with it. Last little tweezer for you. The other thing as well, we are working on, this is why the thing's on the other side, come here, is these. So this is something, new product we're working on, which are solid metal. These are actually seam scrapers, little designs we're working on at the moment, which I've got them somewhere else. There's a pile of them somewhere. So yes, we're working on these at the moment. We're going to be talking about these on tomorrow's show and getting your feedback, but a little bit of a tease for you just now. So that is it from me today. Happy modelling, take care. I'll catch you all tomorrow.